Okay, it's live.
Cool.
Hello, everyone. Kate and Tess here. I'm Kate, for those of you that don't know me.
Hi, guys. It's Tess. Nice to see you all.
We're glad that you guys joined us tonight, and Tess is going to kick us off in a minute, but while we're kind of waiting, I'm seeing people come on. I know people are getting home from work or just finishing up dinner and getting back in the office. And so I have a little poll that I would like you guys to take, and so I'm going to make it public. If you're watching via the Webinars on Air app, you may just need to click refresh. If you're watching us on YouTube, unfortunately, you won't be able to interact with our poll, but if you clicked the link from your email to get over here through Webinars on Air, then I just am asking you guys kind of about your business goals. So what I want to know is, what are your main goals in business? And I should have said main goal, because you can only pick one. And I know we all hate that because we always have so many things that we're working on. But there are different objectives, and I kind of want to know what you guys are up to so that I can speak to those particular goals this evening. So let me just tell you about them. And I also, just so you know, have enabled the Q&A. Again, if you're in Webinars on Air, you'll be able to talk with me and see that. The Q&A, you can ask questions. But as far as the poll goes, my questions to you are, I hear from a lot of people that they want to make more money. And that can mean a lot of different things. Do you want to make more money per client? Or do you want to create additional streams of income other ways? Maybe some passive income, maybe create some income some other ways. Some people want to work less, and that could also mean a couple of different things. It might mean that you want to be doing less of the actual client, day-to-day client work, but you still like working 20, 30, 40 hours a week, whatever it is that you do, or less, more or less than that. Or do you physically want to work less hours, where you have a job, where your business, you work about 10 hours a week or something like that, and then you're free the rest of the time, but you still have an unlimited income. And then, of course, as your main business, another business goal, and this was one of mine in the beginning, even more so than the money and the time, was becoming an expert. So I wanted to become known as an expert in the industry. I wanted to get speaking gigs. I wanted to be on expert panels. I wanted to do webinars like this. And so rather than focusing on anything else, that was, was my laser focus. So if you have a moment, I'd love to hear what your business goals are. And we're just doing this, it's 7:04, so we're gonna take a couple minutes to do this while I see we've had about 10 people come on just since I've been talking. And so hopefully a few more of our friends will show up, and then we'll get started. What about you, Tess? What was your main goal for yourself when you finally, when you finally get to that place where you're like, okay, I have a business now. I can take myself seriously now. What do I want to do first? Do I want to, what was your first big goal once you got to a place where you felt comfortable?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I feel like I did things in sort of a backwards type of way. I was already living the lifestyle I wanted, and I needed to maintain it, but I was in another country, so I couldn't get a regular job. I did some random stuff, but I needed American dollars, really. So I ended up finding the virtual assistant industry. So once that was all established and I had clients and I could kind of breathe and realize, like, wow, I actually have a business now, I think the next goal was to develop the community for support, because I went online to look for answers to questions that I had, and for different reasons wasn't able to connect with what I was looking for. So I would say building virtual assistant forums. But if it's like a lifestyle question, I didn't have children. I didn't have my daughter at that point. So it was really about traveling more, having that freedom to take my business with me.
Travel has been, has always been a big one for me in my business. I travel a lot. I just got back from 11 days in Mexico. I was traveling mostly actually for a workshop. Now travel is still a really big one for me too, but I spend a lot of time, I think, in like conferences and in learning. And so I like to be away from my business so that I can be, you know, I've kind of gotten to that place, you know, when I first got started, it's kind of like, if you got, I'm seeing a couple people saying the poll's not showing in webinars on there. You have to refresh, and it's on the right-hand side of the page, and you'll need to click a little, if you don't see it, I mean, I'm sorry, you'll see the little thing on the left-hand side, I think. I always forget when I'm the presenter, it's on the other side. I used to be eat, sleep, and breathe my business, and I loved that. I was always like, rah, rah, hustle. And now I'm to that place where I just want my business to fund my other activities.
Yeah.
So travel and conferences and all the other interests that I have and all of that. So, so good. Okay. Well, let's see here. So we've got a lot of people focused on making more money. A couple people want to become known as an expert like me. Rah, rah, rah. Those, I feel like those are those of us we wanted to be famous or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then create some additional streams of income. So we have a lot of money-minded people, and not very many people are answering saying that they want to work less. So we have some workaholics.
Well, I think a lot of times people don't realize that's an option. I mean, you know, I think we don't always realize that we can find a way to work less, especially when it feels like the business is running us. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why you're not hearing those types of replies.
Maybe that's true. Well, I'm going to talk a little, one of the things I'm going to talk about today, we actually are going to talk about a little bit about which packages I offer in social media management that do get me a better ROI, and that I do have higher profit margins on and do less work. There's a busy street outside, so I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's a little bus that keeps going by, and it's kind of driving me bananas. So on that note, why don't we go ahead and get started? Okay,
cool. I'm really excited to introduce those of you who didn't meet Kate last time, and to reintroduce her tonight to those of you who did join us back in June. That was the last event we had with Kate, and if you were there, you'll remember that it was super fun and it was really informational. I'm picky about who I bring on for virtual assistant forums, and I'm always impressed with Kate's content. And I have to tell you that the show she's doing tonight for us, she actually wrote specifically for tonight. No one else has heard this content before, so that's really exciting. But in case you don't know, Kate Buck Jr. is a social media consultant. She also runs Social Media Manager Pro, which is a training program for social media marketing professionals, which is why we're talking about what we're talking about tonight. Believe it or not, Kate's courses have trained more than 30,000 students, and the reports that I've read from people who've taken her classes are just amazing, and the feedback on the forums after the last webinar was just overwhelming. She also travels a lot for events. She does speaking gigs, but tonight she set aside 2 whole hours just for us. She runs her company out of Austin, Texas with her business partner, Jesse Jameson. Such a cool name. I feel like I want to name. And she works with top names in internet marketing all over the world. She also consults with entrepreneurs, businesses, and nonprofits. Kate, as you would imagine, is a lifelong student. She's always looking to learn the next big thing in internet and technology, and particularly whatever connects people in terms of like mind and interest around the world, which is probably why social media is a perfect fit for her. Mm-hmm. So we're really excited to have you here tonight, Kate. And without further ado, they don't really want to listen to me talk. They're here for you. So thanks again.
Thank you. It's weird hearing about yourself, especially kind of like in the third person. But I am excited to be here tonight. I have a couple people asking. And, if you guys pay attention to anything with marketing, we're not supposed to tell you that you're going to get a copy of the presentation, but you will be able to see a replay of it. I like to have everything recorded. So I just want to get that out of people's minds so that you're not worried about it the entire time, because that question has come in already twice in the Q&A. And with that, just so you know, I will do some Q&A with you guys. I'm putting my hand up over here because I'm not going to look at the questions for the rest of the time, because like most of us entrepreneurs, oh, shiny squirrel, I'll be all over the place if I try to read your questions and present this new material. And just like Tess said, I have, I've been teaching and training social media managers for since 2010, so I feel really old. I started my social media assistant business. I started as a virtual assistant in 2009, actually late 2008 is when I started my business, but I didn't actually make my first dollar until January of 2009. And before that, I was in corporate social media, so I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary online, and it's so funny because I still consider myself like the new kid on the block. And I thought the other day, well, now I've been working virtually and online for 10 years. Maybe I do know what I'm talking about. I don't know, just a hunch. The information I'm bringing to you guys today really comes out of this group that I train called my Social Media Connect students. And it's feedback from them and myself with what's working in my agency. So anyways, I'm probably just rambling a little bit too much. I'm excited. I still see people coming on, so I'm super happy about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my screen share on, and you're going to get the infinite loop thing, because with Google Hangouts, I have to turn on the entire screen. And now I'll flip over to my slides and present. So I've been putting this training together for a while, and then I went through it today. So you guys really are getting the first crack at it here. And so I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through it. It took me about an hour earlier today, but it may take me a little bit longer. So is that okay if, whoops, see, I don't even know how to work my computer. Is that okay if it goes, and then we'll take questions after that. Is that cool?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kate.
All right, awesome. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about creating social media campaigns for clients. Now, on a lot of social media webinars that you guys log into, I'm sure that they are talking to you about the latest and greatest, like what's the new stuff going on Facebook with these lead ads, and we definitely teach that and that stuff over here. But tonight, I really want to focus on the business aspect of packaging, pricing, and selling social media services to clients. Okay. That's what I want to talk again. So I've been poking my head around over here on the virtual assistant forums, and I took this screenshot a little bit earlier today, but I've been in and out for, about the past month or two now, just kind of trying to get my finger on the pulse of what you guys are up against. And that was also why I wanted to put the poll out there. So if you're just coming on to webinars on air, if you haven't taken the little poll yet, feel free to do that. If you don't see it or there's an error or something, please don't let it distract you and take you out from the content. But it seemed like to me, again, we talked about a lot of these in the poll, that the main things that you guys are struggling with are getting more clients and making more money, working more efficiently, let's put it that way, and growing your business, perhaps building a team, becoming a recognized expert, maybe writing a book, and then a lot of people looking into how do you create some additional streams of income. So it seemed appropriate on our last webinar that we did with Tess, and if you guys haven't seen that one, you can email Tess, we can sure get you access to it. We really focused on the client getting side. And so on this one, we're going to talk more about the packages. So when I was looking at the problems, I thought really, so I'll just briefly go through a little bit about me and how I can help you guys. In 2008 is when I got the pink slip, and I love it because looking back on it, I thought it was a tragedy at the time, but it was actually a coupon or like a little opportunity. I like that little picture there too. It really changed my life, and I haven't looked back since. But I was struggling there for a bit, and I started using social media to help me find a job. You know, I was very job oriented, and I thought I could find another job doing online work. But eventually, I was always kind of hanging out, and I always knew what was going on. So people started asking me for advice and information on how to click here, or how to set this up, or, you know, how to do different things on social media. And so I would give them, you know, helpful tips and advice, or I'd share what I could, only what I knew. And what I didn't realize is that I was becoming an expert, right? I was getting myself out there and being known as an expert. So again, this was not too long ago, just in 2009. So fast forward 6 months, and I had a huge client base. I started hiring friends and family, which I'm not sure I necessarily recommend to help me out. Within about 18 months, I had built my business to a steady $10,000 per month just from my client base, and I hadn't built anything else yet. That was more than double what I was making at my previous job. So at that point, I decided that I would stop looking for a job, and I would try to do this online business thing. Really shortly after that, people started asking me, not just about social media, but like I was saying at the beginning of this webinar, they were asking me about how I started my business and how I made money. And that quickly became my passion, was helping up and coming social media managers and virtual assistants like yourselves. And that really is what brings me here with you today. Now I have a social media agency where we provide services all the way up to Fortune 100 companies, from small mom and pop shops. Again, some of those are top nationally recognized brands. I have trained thousands of social media managers. I've had tens of thousands of students, like Tess mentioned, buy my online courses. I speak around the world. You know, again, I've written a best-selling Kindle book, host masterminds and events, and I've broken that barrier and figured out how to make some passive income from email and affiliate marketing. Again, so like Tess and I mentioned, so I'm not chained to my laptop. But really, that is enough about me. Our students are successful too. And again, I'm just setting you up so that you understand why you're here listening to me, and I'm not just some random person that Tess picked up off the street today. Our students that go through our social media manager training, in their first months, you can see David here decided to get off his duff and get some clients. One for $7,500, another one for a little over $5,000, and the third one for about $6,000. And that was in a single month of finally actually going through a training. You know, when you buy something and then you sit on it forever, and then you finally decide you're going to do something with it. Well, that's what happened with David. And I'd say it was a pretty good month for him. He made almost 20 grand that month. Some of us, like I said, have different goals. Teresa wanted to spend more time with her kids, and so she was able to work from home and spend more time with our kids just from some of the stuff that we've taught them. And we have handfuls of other ones that I won't spend a lot of time going through. So let's pick up and talk about what we're going to cover tonight, because on the last webinar, those of you that were with us, we talked a lot about the opportunity of becoming a social media manager, and we discussed we answered the question, are social media managers in demand? And the answer is yes. Whether you want to expand the services that you're already offering, whether you want to get a job like I was mentioning before, or it really doesn't even matter what you're doing these days, you need to understand social media services. And if you're running an online business, then it's easily something that you can add on to what you're doing. So on the last webinar, we covered a bunch of the different types of clients that you can specialize in and which ones are easiest to work with. I talked a lot about how to find your very first client, or for you guys might be your next client within your first 24 hours of being a social media manager, or within the next one. And we just barely touched on the best-selling social media packages. And I had some questions about that. And so when Tess and I were chatting about me coming back, we very quickly said, this would absolutely be something that you guys would want to hear more about because we were a little bit rushed at the end. Those best-selling social media packages. So on this webinar, that's exactly what you're going to get from me. We're going to talk about the 4 different types of social media services that you can offer. These are the 4 types that I offer. And again, like I was saying, which one leverages your time and makes you the most money? I'm going to talk to you about selling social media strategies as standalone services. Okay, so I know a lot of us are stuck in the whole done for you. And that is one of the 4 types, but it's definitely not my favorite type, and we'll talk about why. So I'm going to talk to you guys about selling just strategies as standalone. I'm going to tell you what to include in those strategies that you're selling, which are 5-step approaches. It's my 5-step approach. So each of those 5 components are in every single strategy that I create. It's kind of the formula that I use for my social media strategies for my clients. And I'm going to talk to you about packaging and pricing social media done for you services. Again, it's absolutely my least favorite. You got to drag me kicking and screaming, or you got to be a really big brand to get me excited about it. But I know that you guys get a lot of clients, and I'll talk to you about how I know that's the case. And so let's talk about how you piece together a social media done for you package, what you should be putting in there, and then how much you should charge for each of those things. So I don't know, Tess, does that sound good? Is that
perfect?
What we're looking for here?
I think everyone's clamoring to hear everything you have to say. So.
Okay, good. And you guys can't see this little note on the bottom of my screen here that I see that says Google Hangouts is sharing your screen. You guys can't see that, can you? No? Okay. Okay, good. I didn't think so. I just wanted to make sure. So full disclosure, we've mentioned my Social Media Manager Pro. And so yes, as I'm coming on doing a free training, I'm going to make that opportunity available to you guys at the end. But I would also really love for you to stay on and hear about it. And so I am offering a free bonus download. I'm not even going to ask for an opt-in. It's a fabulous download that you guys can use and implement in your business immediately. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but if you stay on, I will give you the link to that. And it's something that I plucked it straight out of our training. It's one of my most requested resources. And so again, I will talk about it a little bit at the end because I think it's a fabulous opportunity. But at the same time, I want to give you guys some free stuff because, hey, I know that there are a million things you guys could be doing tonight. You could be spending time with your family. You could be doing some client work. You could be on another training, or you could be, I don't know, taking a nap, reading a book, sitting by the pool, whatever it is that you would like to be doing, but you have chosen to come spend your time with me, and I value that greatly. So I will not waste your time. There will not be a lot of fluff. This isn't going to be one of those 10 minutes with 2-tip webinars and then you're done. I'm just not like that. So anyways, but I wanted to have full disclosure, and I wanted to let you know about the bonus download that I'm going to give you. No opt-in even required. So hang around for that. All right, so now that I feel like all of our housekeeping is out of the way, are you guys ready to dig in? All right, me too. Let's dig in. So I said I was going to talk to you about the 4 main types of social media packages, and this is may not be like earth-shattering for anybody, but this is how I categorize the things that I sell. So let's just go across the top first and talk about the 4 categories. You have the evaluation or roadmap, okay, also known as a social media strategy, but for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to call it an evaluation or a roadmap, right, or a social media plan. I might use those words interchangeably. Another category is where you're doing a one-time service. So this is something that is, you offer a client, you do one time, you're not in there month to month, you don't have an ongoing open-ended agreement, it's just a one-time project that you might be doing. I like these because I can go back. I do these a lot for past clients, right? When they've done for you, or they've been in one of my other packages, and then they go off to do their own thing. They often come back for one-off campaigns, maybe around the holidays, right? They want to push their gift cards for holidays or something like that. And so we'll have this very fixed agreement where we're kind of doing one-time services. Talk to you more about those in a little bit. I'll talk to you more about all of these in a little bit, okay? So I'm just kind of going over them with you. Now, training and consulting is my absolute favorite. This is where people just pay me to show up and talk and use my expertise. This is one of those really highly leveraged packages or services that you can offer. And oftentimes it's because the materials that you use and the knowledge that you have in your brain from other clients is applicable. And again, really, this is only costing you time and your knowledge, and but it's also the most valuable to the client. So that one and the roadmap, we'll talk more about why that is the case in just a second. And then you've got the done for you, right? So that's the one we concentrate on the most, but this is where we end up getting stuck. 80% of our time is spent here, but we only make about 20% of our income sometimes, right? Or we're just working here. And if you're finding yourself working late into the evening, always trying to get stuff done, if you're stuck in done for you, we really need to look at doing some team building. And at the same time, we need to, it's very sensitive, my mouse, sorry, keeps kind of going to the next slide. We need to look at getting you into one of these other areas, like the evaluation roadmap service or the training and consulting service, okay? Now, the reason I love the evaluation or the roadmap is because this, again, is a highly leveraged product that you can offer. It's also what I call the gateway to all the rest of the services. And here's why, okay? A lot of times a client will come to me, I'll meet them at a conference or a networking meeting, and they will say, they've been doing all of their social media themselves, and they just need a little bit of help. If only someone would just tell them what to do, then they would know how to use their time better, and then they could do social media themselves, right? I bet you guys hear this quite a bit with your clients in the different services. Well, if someone would only tell me how to do it. This is where I'd say, well, great, we should work together, and I can help you with that. I can help you create a social media strategy. And the cool thing about the social media strategies are there are no strings attached, right? You can take your social media strategy and implement it yourself. You can have, if you already have a VA or an assistant, you can have them implement it, or you can potentially hire me to implement it for you as well. But most clients, the first thing that they are thinking is, well, I'm already doing it myself. If only I paid someone and they actually told me what to do, maybe I could do it better. So then we'll go through the whole roadmap evaluation phase, and I'll present, and I'm going to talk to you guys about all of what that entails, so don't worry. Then we'll get done with that, and I'll present them their social media strategy, and inevitably there will be a few things that they need to fix. Perhaps they need to set up a custom, I'll recommend that they need a custom tab on their Facebook page, or maybe they need a new cover image for their Twitter profile, or any number of technical things like that. So the client will then generally say, okay, well, this strategy is great, Kate, and I can do it myself, but do you think you can fix those couple of technical things for me before I go off and do it on my own? And then I say, great, and we'll move them in, and we will then sell them a one-time service, right? We'll help them optimize their blog, or we'll create graphics so that they have consistent branding across all of their social media profiles. So naturally the next step, and that's why I call it the gateway, is like, okay, well, you've presented me with my plan. Do you think you can help me with the technical stuff? Sure, no problem. I can help you with that. Then I do that. Once the technical stuff is finished and I send them a little note that says, hey, your WordPress blog has been optimized. I added your social media buttons that you asked me to do, and all of that. Then they're starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed, and they're saying, do you think that you can show me how to do this? Are you guys getting are you guys following this? Has this happened to you before? And I started just noticing that this was the pattern always. Do you think you could get on the phone with me 2 or 3 times, or on a webinar with me 2 or 3 times, and just answer a couple of questions, or just train my assistant a little bit about what we need to be doing? And all I'm doing is teaching straight out of my evaluation and roadmap, and just doing some demo videos and teaching them how to do it. Another really cool thing that you can offer here that's, again, highly leveraged is if you already have training videos created, you could say, sure, let me send you, my training videos. So training and consulting is, oh, that was a cool thing that happened with my mouse. See how it gets bigger? Training and consulting, again, one of my favorites, but that's usually the next place. And then inevitably, sometime through training and consulting, a client just gets fed up, frustrated, and says, I give up, will you just do this for me? And that's because I don't think that clients or people, I don't think people in general know how much work actually goes into a comprehensive social media plan. I think that social media gets a bad rap because millennials and their selfies, and a girl just got arrested for periscoping while drunk driving the other day. And with all of this kind of stuff happening and all the silliness that goes on, I don't think that people really understand that, a social media marketing plan is a full-time job in a corporation, from creating content to posting to engaging to running the metrics and the reporting and keeping up on the latest and greatest, growing the audience, all the things that we're going to get into. It really is a very involved and can be very time consuming. Now, the rewards make it totally worth it, but I think that people think they're just going to log in, and there's a lot of misinformation about 3 status updates, 15 minutes a day online, or whatever, and it's just simply not true. So again, these are the 4 different categories, and you don't have to, just to be clear, you can sell any of them at any time. This is just the flow that typically happens for me. So I've been booked for a training or consulting gig right out the gate. And also occasionally I'll do a one-time service or a campaign for a client. A lot of times those are past clients. But what I will tell you is that I absolutely refuse to do any done-for-you services until I've done an evaluation roadmap. So 99% of our clients come in through the evaluation and roadmap first. So when I'm talking to a new client, whether they think they want technical help, whether they think they want training or consulting or done for you, I let them know that all of our clients first go through the strategy phase, the roadmap, or the evaluation phase. From there, we can decide where to go next. Now, here's why I love the social media evaluation and why I recommend all of my clients go through it first. As a matter of fact, it's not even a recommendation, it's a must. I did this, I had a client recently, about 4 months ago, we started chatting, and I've been in mastermind groups with this client, and I've known him for several years, and I went around my usual policy of the social media evaluation first, and I was kicking myself afterwards. Why? Because the social media evaluation is like getting paid to do an extended interview with your client, okay? It does not promise that you're going to continue working with them after you've created the social media strategy for them and presented it to them. And it lets them off the hook too, meaning a client isn't coming to you and the first thing that you're trying to sell them is this $2,500 a month package that's going to go on for infinity, right? It's this thing where it's like, I'm going to create this for you. It's going to be really valuable and you can use it however you want. And then you have a choice if you want to work with me or not. For that reason alone, I think clients really love it because they can sort of breathe a sigh of relief that they're not immediately being bombarded with this like forever, ongoing maintenance package. Now, a lot of my strategies, a lot of what you'll see is a lot of clients have the same problems, right? They're not, their profiles and stuff aren't optimized, and they're not using social media best practices. If they were, they wouldn't be coming to you asking for a strategy, right? So again, I say these are really highly leveraged because a lot of times you can reuse what you've done before. Now, it needs to be personalized. It needs to be modified. And there's still work that needs to go into it. But if you create some social media best practices, you can incorporate and include those in what you're doing. And I'll show you a sample social media strategy here shortly where I've done just that. Now, this is also a place where you can show off your creativity and include what I call wildcard ideas. So we'll talk more about what wildcard ideas are here in a minute, but if you're creating a social media strategy for someone, you can always create it in multiple phases, right? Like phase 1, like let's get everything cleaned up and organized. Phase 2, let's implement some best practices. And phase 3, let's be creative. Let's do some more fun stuff out of the box thinking. But in the strategy, you have the opportunity to present yourself and your creativity to that client because you're creating a strategy for them. Now, absolutely the best part of this is if you are someone that focuses a lot on doing the done for you or the coaching and consulting, or even the one-time services. So if you provide any services or any coaching or consulting, then what you will find is that if you put your clients through an evaluation phase or a strategy roadmap phase first, you can actually create the perfect pitch, because now you've had the chance to look under the hood of their business, get a clear picture of what they're struggling with, provide them with the solutions to their problem, and then the recommendations about how you would go about fixing that and what it would cost to do that with you. So it's just like when a person takes their car to the mechanic for the diagnostic and he charges them $100 for the diagnostic. They're already in it, the car's already there, it's already taken apart, and he's already presented himself as the expert in fixing their car. So when he says, well, here's how we're gonna go about fixing it, the likelihood that the person's gonna sign, that you're gonna sign on the dotted line and just let him fix your car is much greater than if you had brought it in and he had skipped that part, okay? And just said, it's gonna be, you know, $1,500 a month forever, and I'm gonna fix your problems. So I can tell you that when I present my proposal to a client at the end of the social media evaluation phase, I'm in the high 90s in terms of closing rate, right? Because all the pieces are in place, and you've created a proposal that is exclusively for them. So again, a client comes to me, says that they want help with their social media. I let them know that I'm happy to help them, but all of our clients start in this strategy phase. And so when a client says yes, that they do want to work with me on a social media strategy, the next question that comes up is, okay, how do you do one of these things? So I'm going to take the next few minutes and I'm actually going to kind of give you guys a detailed walkthrough of how to do a social media strategy. And again, some of this stuff I have not presented before. So this is my proprietary way that I go about creating a social media strategy for my clients. The first step is to set up a call with them, and I usually do it via Google Hangout so that I can record it and we can both have access to it. And I ask a ton of questions. Now in my Social Media Manager Pro training, we have a strategic questionnaire that just gives you ideas for lots of different questions. You can see a copy of it on the right. I don't ask all of these questions, but I ask a lot of them. And it's whatever I think I need to know, okay? So the first thing that you want to understand from their client is, what do they think that they need, okay? What do they think their problem is? And what are their business objectives overall? And sometimes those don't end up being the same thing. So for instance, a lot of times a client will come to you because they think they're spending too much time doing social media, but their business objective is, you know, create more leads, create more sales, something like that. And of course, every business wants, at the end of the day, wants to make more money. You know, they want more money and more customers. They want to grow their business with social media. But there's more to it than that, and we'll talk about some of the alternative suggestions. And you'll find those things out by asking them lots of questions. Find out about their current customers and also their ideal customers. Those two things, again, don't always match. Find out as much as you can about them. You can see down here under target audience profile, it's like, where do your customers live? What is their average family income? In other words, are you marketing to the affluent, or are you marketing to people that live in suburban areas? Are you marketing to people that live in a certain part of the country? Or people that only participate in a certain sport that's only during a certain time of the year, right? You also want to find out, what do they do for fun? Are they, one of the big questions on here that's important is, how web savvy are their customers? And again, their current customer base may not be their ideal customer base. They may be trying to grow and expand into new markets. And so it's important to understand both who their current customers are and who they'd like their customers to be in the future. Now, ask them questions and don't feel rude or what's the word, like obtuse or anything, but ask them about their current sales and marketing plans. These are important things for you to know. If you need to sign an NDA, of course, we have sample NDAs in the course. I'm sure Tess offers those. I'm sure you guys can get those too through the forums. But if they don't feel comfortable sharing some proprietary stuff with you, but the idea is you need to know what they're doing now. You need to know, is it working for them? Are they satisfied with it? And do they feel like it's cost effective, right? Do they feel like they could be doing better with the money that they're spending, or are they happy with it? It's really important to know, because a lot of times people are skeptical about social media because they feel like they're already doing really well with another form of online marketing. And so trying to understand and help them understand how to divert funds or divert their budget so that they still feel like they're capitalizing on what's working well in their business, and then adding social media as well, you know, how to make them feel comfortable. So budget is important questions, and so are sales and marketing plans. Really important is to get some examples from them. So ask them to show you 3 brands that they follow. Be great if some of those are in their niche, even better if they're competitors of theirs, but it doesn't have to be, okay? So I'd like to see profiles or websites. I mean, whatever it is, like, this brand that I follow is doing this and I really like it. My competitor down the street has a contest going, you know, I thought it was cool. And ask them to show you what they like and also what they don't like about these pages that they're showing you. Now, some of those potential campaign objectives, just so you guys know, beyond, I'm just going to pull them up here really quick, beyond making more money, right? That's everybody. We want more customers and we want to make more money. Yes, I knew that when you called me, right? So brand awareness, okay? So growing brand awareness is a big one. So growing their audience, the more people are aware of them, getting more eyeballs to their brand, and also expanding their reach. So how far, how big of an audience do they have, and how big of that secondary audience do they have? In other words, when we share our message, does our audience share our message? How can we increase our reach? Now, another thing around brand awareness, another objective that's really important is brand affinity. I know that you guys know, like AT&T and a few other technology brands kind of get a bad rap sometimes, and people are always kind of complaining about them online. So if you have a brand that, or a client that comes to you and perhaps, you know, something happened and they, you know, they had a bad complaint online, or, you know, you've seen some of the horror stories from social media, but, you know, nothing even that extreme, but you just want to create some brand affinity. In other words, you know, becoming more likable in your community. You can do that very easily using social media, and it's an important objective. People do business with people and businesses that they know, like, and trust. The middle one was like. So before they can trust you, they probably need to like you. And so creating brand affinity might be doing some community service and just even engaging and chatting and giving out information to your customers. Okay, so some of the obvious ones that we talk about are driving traffic. In other words, they want more website visitors. A lot of times they want you to focus on getting them leads. A lot of times those are email leads. Sometimes they're phone or SMS leads. Maybe they have a sales department that's going to call, that's going to make calls if you're getting phone numbers from people. And then, of course, selling products and services, right? However, a lot of times these objectives are reached in, I'm sorry, not even a lot of times. These objectives need to be reached in partnership with your client. And we'll talk about the whole why that's partially the client's objective. So if you're working with somebody and that is their main objective, then you always kind of want to explain. I always say I'm the social media bus driver. So my job is number 4 there. I will drive the traffic for you. I will give you some suggestions and some consulting on what will help convert them into leads or convert them into product or service sales. But at the end of the day, the business is the one who is responsible for the conversion piece of it, which is the second half. Your job is to get the eyeballs there. I pick people up on the bus on Twitter. I bring them over to your website. And at that point, it becomes the client focus to ensure that they convert those. A big one that we are doing a lot of with our customers, and particularly our big brands, is gathering customer data, understanding those customers. Why? Because that helps to inform number 5 and 6 over here, right? That helps to inform the products and services that you're offering. It helps to convert potential customers and, website visitors into prospects. It also helps you increase your online marketing efforts in general, whether it's stumbling across a new target or a page that a lot of your fans on Facebook like, or a Twitter account or Twitter chat that people are highly engaged with that you just didn't realize that a portion of your customers also have some other interests that you can incorporate into what you're doing. Gathering customer data is an important part. You know, companies used to spend tens of thousands of dollars on market research data, and a lot of that is available to you now just by implementing a good social media strategy. So this might be an objective that your client might have, and social media is one way to help them. And then 8 and 9 are about reducing costs. So again, those are for those customers that come to you that say they already have solid online funnels in place, and they're looking to add social media and hopefully reducing CPL, cost per lead, from other channels, okay? So the reason that social media is effective here and why these are great objectives is because social media, you have the opportunity for organic growth. Some people call that viral marketing, the viral component. That's the component where it kind of your marketing efforts start taking on a life of their own. You naturally have people coming to follow you. You naturally have people sharing your blog posts and your content. And so if you were spending money on advertising for a long time to get those same results, then as you as a social media service provider assist them with their organic growth, then they will be able to get those same amount of shares, those same amount of new followers, by doing it in an organic way, which means they'll get the same amount for less money, or they can keep their budget the same and then increase what they're doing. So I love adding in that organic piece, especially to some of those number cruncher advertising clients that you might get. Okay. So now once I've really had a good conversation and I've recorded it and I've sent the recording, now it's time with my client, now it's time for me to go away and do my own research. Now, this is where I take a look at all the websites that they've sent me. I look at their funnels. I look at everything that they're doing online, all of their pages, all of their calls to action, all of their branding, and of course, all of their social media profiles. Now, I think clients sometimes don't tell me everything that I need to know, so I go do my own searching, right? I try to put in keywords, see if my clients come up. search for their business, see what online reviews they have, see what people are saying about their competitors. I just really I'm one of those just super curious people. So I have no problem snooping around online for any kind of public information that I can get my hands on during one of these evaluations. And as I'm going through, I'm making notes, right? I'm making notes of what needs optimizing, places where they're not following established best practices. So for instance, if their branding is not consistent across their website and all of their social media profiles, or if I find that the content that they're creating doesn't really speak to the audience that they said that they wanted to speak to, or even things like technical setup I mentioned earlier. Do they not have social sharing buttons on their blog? Do they, what best practices are they following or not following? Are they only posting to their Twitter once a week on one day? That's not following established best practices, because we know that consistency is really important. So as you're going through and checking everything out, you're just making notes about, you know, what they're doing well, but also the places where you see holes in their strategy. Maybe they have a really rude person that is answering some of their tweets or something for customer support, and they, you know, whoever it is just doesn't really notice it. These are the things that you'll find out as you're doing your evaluation. Now, to me, this is the fun part, especially if I'm not in the target market for the client. This is where you get to put your customer hat on. And from the point of view of their target customer, does all of what you're looking at make sense? Is it appealing to you? Does it flow easily? Where are the places where they lose you? Where are the places that it doesn't make any sense and now you're looking for a competitor? Would you follow this brand on social media? Would you, if you were the target customer, would you become a prospect? Would you take advantage of their opportunities to get free information from them? And would you buy their product? Would you share about them? Depending if the answer is yes, I'm going to talk about why, because those are good things that they're doing. And of course, on your evaluation, you want to share both good things and bad, both good, not just the places that they need help. And if they're not good, you definitely want to make note of that, and you want to look for patterns. Maybe they don't have a consistent biography about themselves across all of their social media profiles. Maybe they didn't create a LinkedIn company page and they should. Or maybe they started a group on Facebook and they have 100 people in it, but now they never use it. So all of these things will be things that you'll find as, again, you're out there doing your sleuthing around, right? And then, of course, you want to see what's working in their niche. So you do want to take a look at their competitors. Try to look for competitors that are, in this, don't look for, if they're in computing, don't look at Apple and go, well, you're not doing what Apple's doing, or it's Joe's coffee shop and you're comparing it to Starbucks, right? Starbucks has a different budget and different objectives. So you want to try to find really comparable brands. And sometimes, again, your clients can kind of point you to these guys, but if you're doing the right searching, you'll definitely stumble across them. And if you see something that's working, see how you could translate it. See how you could personalize it for your client. See how you could do something different, but would produce the same result if it's working. And definitely if you see things that are not working, make sure to add those in as recommendations to say, whoa, stay away, do not do these things. Okay, so now you've interviewed the client and now you've gone and done your research. Now it's time to start formulating your plan of action. So if you were the target customer, think to yourself, where are the places that you hang out? A great example is if I'm thinking to myself, where do virtual assistants hang out? I might go check out the VA forums. Now that is not necessarily Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? That's a forum in and of itself. So don't discount that there are micro communities in different niches for all different kinds of hobbies and interests and targets. And then you've got the public stuff, which is like, a Twitter, or what am I thinking of? Sorry, a Facebook fan page. And then you've even got down to like LinkedIn groups, right? So people might be sharing and discussing on LinkedIn groups. So of all of these places, like where are some of them hanging out? And you'll learn this in your investigation as you're watching the influencers that you find and seeing what conversations do they participate in, what blogs do they read, what links do they share. Those are the places that you want to recommend that your client be hanging out, quote unquote, so that they can begin to be part of the conversation. The next thing you want to include here is what kinds of content do their customers would like to consume and share. It's not always going to be informational. A lot of times it's just going to be entertainment, right? How can you just entertain these guys and keep them engaged and keep yourself top of mind? Now, like I mentioned before, this is a place for you to be super creative. So I always tell my clients that I'm going to create a strategy with the idea that they have unlimited resources, right? They have infinite money, which would be awesome. We have all the time in the world. There's no time constraints. And we have access to every resource that we might need. Here's the plan that I would create. And that way my thinking isn't limited or made small by saying, oh, the client wouldn't go for that, or we don't really have time for that, because you never really know. And when you're creating a marketing plan for somebody, that's definitely the place you want to start is let's do it with gusto, right? Let's see what we got. Now, once you do that, now you want to present that to them, but you also want to be prepared with your prioritizations. And like I said, you might want to show them first your phase 1 stuff, implementing best practices, and then what will you learn through the phase of implementing best practices that in phase 2 you can start to go off script a little bit and maybe implement some of these wild card ideas. Now, I've been talking for a little bit and I want to get a quick drink of water, so hang on just a second. My water bottle was down on the floor. And while I'm doing that, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna pop over to the back to the Hangout for just a second. So, I can stop sharing. How about that? I'm gonna pop back over here to the Hangout for just a second. And
I see lots of hands. I'm excited.
What's happening? Oh, my screen is
We
frozen.
basically built an entire business for all the people who want to be doing social for their clients. I mean, you laid it all out. Why are we paying for this? Thank you. It's amazing to me.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
My screen is frozen.
Well,
what do you see on your screen right now, Tess?
I see myself, and now it's your turn, and then the 3 stars about how to interact with the.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, my screen is.
Oh, there we go. Did we lose Kate? Uh-oh. Is it just me? I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I don't see Kate. So hang on just a second. I'm not sure what happened. She's running the Hangout, but she just disappeared. I'm sure she'll be back in just a second. While you guys are organizing the notes that you took during the webinar, I just wanted to apologize to you guys for the condition the forums have been in lately. It's been really slow because I've been working on it. We're adding some features and removing some features and just getting things set up. Here comes Kate. Hey!
Hey, okay. My screen froze, so I apologize.
No worries. I thought maybe we lost you. I was just letting the members who are here know that I moved the site to a new server like 3 weeks ago, and it looked like it moved okay. And then slowly, one by one, things sort of started to fall.
I think that it's horrible for us, but I don't mind sharing those stories because I want you guys to know, like, we struggle with the same. Oh, did we just lose Tess? Now we just lost Tess. How funny. Well, how very comical. Oh, there you are.
No, hey. No, it wasn't comical at all. Anyway.
Came over to see if there were any
There were a bunch of questions before the browser died. Looks like there's...
Yeah, right there towards the end, it looks like my screen went blurry, and I think that's because my screen froze. So again, don't worry, you guys. Yes, we will give you access to the webinar slides. I hope you could hear my audio just fine, but I see the presentation blurred. Oh, maybe about...
You were crystal clear through the whole thing until just there at the end when we were switching back. So,
okay. All right, good. Well, I will make the slides available to you guys for sure. So, in case there was in case that was the issue. So, I don't see any other pertinent questions. So I'll come back here to where we were at, which was the plan of action. And I just want to see how much more content I have for you guys. Okay, good. So now I want to talk about what you need to include. And I call this the 5-step H&I approach. This is my approach. We use this in our company here called Hey Now Interactive. That's why I call it the H&I approach. So every component, every social media strategy that you do for a client. So one, you're doing the overview, and we just went through all of that. Now you're starting to think futures, right? This is that part where I said you're thinking all the money, all the time, all the resources, right? What should every business be doing in social media? They should be listening, creating and sharing content, growing their audience, engaging with their audience.
Did you want to put your slides back up?
Oh, I'm not sharing. Now I'm not sharing.
No. You're
We'll get it. We got this. We're professionals, y'all. Don't try this at home. I had my slides up, but I was only sharing them with myself. I was being selfish. All right. So these are the 5 steps: listening, creating, growing, engaging, and inviting. And those are my fancy words for all of the components that you need to include in every package that you sell for your social media done for you services. And also, you want to include each of these 5 steps in the plan that you're creating, okay? So I say always be listening. Jesse and I joke you should ABC, always be charging, right? If any of you have an iDevice, it should always be plugged in because the battery doesn't last very long. So I jokingly say always be listening. And when we say listening online, it's a buzzword. What we don't actually mean listening. There's not really anything to do with your ears. It's really this part that we're talking about that you just did in the evaluation phase, which is your market research, okay? This is reputation management, so setting up Google alerts so that you hear anything, any new reviews or anything that a client, that a customer shares about a client online. I also use saved searches on Twitter to search for my clients' names and the names of their products. And people don't always, when they're saying snarky things, they don't always tag you so that you get a notification. So you want to make sure that you are doing the quote unquote listening, which is a lot of times using Hootsuite or other dashboards for social media to continue to be listening and hearing what people are saying about your clients. Now you're also looking in like your Twitter analytics, and you're looking in your Facebook page insights for data. You're looking for trends and patterns. So this helps you, if you're doing a good listening phase, then you don't ever have to ask the question, how many times a day or at what times a day should I be posting content? The reason is because your data will tell you, well, this is the most active time of day on your Facebook page, so that would be the time that you would post the content. So whenever anybody asks me, we always talk about best practices, and they should be implementing those. But at some point, you need to be able to look at the data that you're collecting based on what you're doing and make modifications. And we call that listening. That's where you're seeing what's working, what's not working, and you can make adjustments. Helps you understand your market better, and helps you find places to engage. So I actually, after working with Tess and having such a good time training, Tess's guys, you guys that are on the call, and having a really good webinar, it really opened my eyes, and I thought to myself that a new market that I have not been thinking about or really focusing on servicing was the virtual assistant market. So that was part of my listening phase. Is I started to get myself back. I used to be a big participant in it, but more and more that I've exclusively moved to social media, I have not been participating, right? So that was part of signing up for the forums and looking around online and seeing, hey, where do virtual assistants hang out? What problems are they facing? What memes do they laugh at? You know, what inside jokes do they have? And all of these things are the things that you're going to be doing in that market research evaluation. And this is why all clients start there. Why? Because it's step one. If they're coming on as done for you or they're going to go do it themselves, the listening phase is always first. And this is how you create a good social media plan. It all comes from listening. I had a client recently that it was actually a company out of California, and recently became legal for medical marijuana there. So it was a medical marijuana company. But you know, so we're looking for where are people hanging out that not just the jokester, you know, potheads or whatever, right? Like legitimate customers that may have issues that could legitimately get a prescription, because these are the types of customers that they wanted to reach out to. So it can be even that detailed, right? Like maybe a forum where people are discussing glaucoma, or I don't really even remember now, this was a while ago, what all the specific issues that they might be looking for, but right? So we're getting very, very detailed into places where there are pockets of customers hanging out. And again, it's not necessarily always social media. So that's step one. And the thing is even though it's step one, you never actually stop doing it. So you don't do step one and then move on to step two and stop listening. You're actually always, always, always listening, because it's always informing what you're doing. You know, I'm sure Tess, just like I do, we look at our email open rates, we look at our click-through rates, we see what subject lines are working, we see what content our students like to engage with, and then we continuously update what we're doing based on the feedback that we're getting. Oh, no one opened that email, never going to use that subject line again, or never going to mail at that time again, you know, just like that. And the same thing in social media. Tweet that falls in the forest and nobody hears it, nobody retweets it, nobody shares it, nobody clicks on it, nobody does anything. And you have to optimize what you're doing. Okay, you can't just keep doing things that don't work because some social media expert said this is how you should do it. Now, step two is you take all that knowledge that you just got and you start helping them create content. Love it when clients actually have some content, and this is why I love that speaker, author, coach niche, because they've written a book already, and if they've written a book, then I've got content for ages. I can turn that content into text posts, I can make images and videos out of it, and I can help them point them in the right direction to get blog posts created and other marketing materials from their content. And this is, again, also based on the things that we learn in the listening phase or in that evaluation roadmap. So we're going to help them create their content. Now we're going to talk to them about how to share that, how to begin to share that content, right, and grow their audience. So we want to get more eyeballs and more of the right eyeballs to their social media accounts and ultimately back to their website. On some of the public sites, you can search and follow, and on Facebook, you can run Facebook ads. And then, of course, we've mentioned a couple times here that you can engage in groups. I have a very active Facebook group, and I'm active in several Facebook and LinkedIn groups. And these are services that you would provide, you know, to your clients in order to help them grow their audience. Now, I would have to do a whole nother training on it, so I won't go into the details now. But when you are creating your strategies for clients, you do want to include a budget for audience growth for Facebook ads, almost always. So whether that's $5 a day or $10 a day for the first couple of months, in order to help spur what you're doing, you either need to make sure that the client has a little bit of budget set aside, or you kind of want to include that in your pricing where it's a little bit hidden so that you can run your own ads to help fuel a Facebook fan page when it first gets started. Just a little tip. Engagement, right? The next step is engagement. So now that we have some eyeballs and we have some content to share with them, now how can we have conversations with them? So we want to create engaging posts that entertain, educate, inspire, and have them, ask the right kinds of questions. If you're getting good engagement with your clients, you know that you're doing these things correctly. Now make sure that in your strategies that you encourage your clients, and again, this is if you're doing done-for-you stuff, that you're engaging in real time. Okay, so don't just post something and let it sit there for a week and not come back to it and then reply. It's like a real-time conversation, like these people here at this dinner party. If someone waited 10 minutes to respond, even 10 minutes to respond, it would be awkward and weird. So you wanna encourage your clients to have real-time engagement. I talked about being the social media bus driver, right? So I'm going to pick them up on whatever social media profile they're on. That means they now follow me or they engage with me. And now I might post links or promotions back to my client's blog, to their landing pages, or to places in maybe e-commerce where they can buy their products and services. And that's the last stage, invite. And it's the last stage for a reason, because we have built rapport. So first we've got to know people, right, in the listening phase. Then we helped create some content. Let's go back. We got to know them here in the listening phase. We created some content that they would be able to, that they would enjoy consuming and sharing with their friends. We reached out to some new people to bring them into the fold. We chatted up with those people. We engaged. We gave them stuff to share. We helped encourage them talk amongst themselves and get to know each other. And then finally, on that last stage is when we might say, hey, you guys want to work with us more, or find out more about our business, or read a blog post from us, go to our website. And that's what I call the invitation stage. Oh, I mentioned some of this. So you might invite them over to your blog. I might invite them to your landing pages. I mentioned that. You might be giving away a free ebook or cheat sheet. You might invite them to a webinar like Tess and I did. We invited you tonight to a webinar. That was step 5. We're at step 5 with you guys. Some of the more fun stuff that I mentioned, like the wildcard ideas, you might encourage them to do a contest or create some kind of quiz. You might invite them to your other social media channels. You see this a lot right now with sites like Blab and Periscope, where people are sharing on Facebook that they're doing a Blab, or they're doing a Hangout, or they're doing a Scope. And so come on over and hang out. Just make sure that you're sharing diverse content across those channels and not the same content. You might invite them to an event, or again, you might invite them to buy something from you if that is what is appropriate. So now those are the things that you need to include in that social media evaluation roadmap, right? So I've reviewed your presence. I'm going to review your presence. I'm going to give you feedback and recommendations based on what I know about social media and what works. And I'm going to include a plan of action that helps you accomplish those 5 steps that I just showed you in social media. And that, in essence, is the social media roadmap, or social media evaluation. I haven't quite figured out the word. I like roadmap, so maybe I'll stick with that. But that's that strategy that you're going to create. That's the word that everybody likes, is strategy, and I want a different word. So that is a comprehensive social media strategy for a single client. That is what you would create. Now, again, in those first conversations with the client, when you're trying to sell it, you want to charge what you would to provide at least 1 month of done-for-you services to a client just to do the roadmap. Now for me, I take about 3 weeks to do these. I schedule a call with the client the first week to interview them. Then I start to do my own research, and that spills over into the second week. And then I begin to put the report together, and that takes me about a week to do. And then I schedule a follow-up call where I'm going to present the benefits to the client. So it does take almost really like a month to do. So you want to charge at least 1 month of what you would charge for done for you. Now I suggest that you charge a little bit more because if you want to use the analogy of the feed a man or teach a man to fish, right? Once you've given them this strategy, remember we said that they don't ever have to really work with you again. They can take this strategy and implement it. You know, I hear a lot of consultants and social media managers will meet with a client and give them some ideas for lunch for free, and then they're hoping to get their business, and then 2 weeks later they see them actually implementing those strategies, and they never paid for them, and they never hired them, and they got their teenage, you know, daughter to actually do it. And this was the solution that I found to get around that problem. Is I talk a lot about the types of things that I'm going to tell them. Like I say, well, I'm going to talk to you about how to increase your engagement. I'm going to talk to you about how to grow your audience. I'm going to talk to you about how to create content that people want to consume and share. And I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to talk to you about how to promote your products and services to your customers. Those are the things that I cover in the social media strategy. And I might throw them 1 or 2 examples. But small ones. And again, it's all in an effort to say, you should buy a strategy from me where I'm going to show you all of this. Now, remember, when you're talking to them about it, since that price is, you know, that price tag is a little high sometimes, you want to be sure to, you know, talk about the benefits. They're going to be able to do this themselves. They're going to have a complete comprehensive social media strategy for their business that they can implement immediately. Go ahead and schedule that follow-up call, but give yourself plenty of time to complete. I told you a little bit about how long it takes me to do one of these. Now, my clients pay in full up front, but I realize sometimes if you're just getting started with this, you don't feel really confident about that. So sometimes, or if I have a client that I know really wants it, but can't quite afford it all at once, then I will do a payment plan with them, but where they will give me 50% up front, and then they'll give me 50% when I complete and deliver my report of findings, okay? And make sure you get their login details because there's more than meets the eye, right? You want to be able to log in and see the messages that have been sent and, you know, how customers are interacting with them and get, of course, access to any analytics that you may want to look at. So you will need their login details, and we have a little client info sheet that we use for that. Now, then again, you're going to complete your evaluation. You're going to create your report or your presentation. I have a typed one that I use, but I've been wanting to convert it to a PowerPoint like this, and I think I'm going to do that. And then I'll give that template, of course, out in the course. Now I don't send the client, I send the report to the client after the call, and I also attach our proposal, right? And make sure that if you've done a split pay with them, the 50-50, you want to try to get the deposit before the call. You don't want to be in a situation where you've presented all of the material to the client and then you ask them for your 50% after and they don't pay. So I always just send them an email in the morning of the day that I'm going to have the call with a link to check out. Hey, our call's later this afternoon. If you could, please go ahead and take care of this. I'll see you at noon. Here's the link to log into our Hangout, and I'll show you, you know, where we'll be going over everything. So make sure you kind of get that tidied up. Go and present your plan, answer any questions, and then of course, their questions are going to be about the next steps. This is where you are prepared and ready with your proposal for what they need to do next and how you can help them do that and how much that's going to cost them. Okay, this is what makes it the perfect pitch, is because you're right there and it's a no-brainer for them, right? So here's a quick example. I pulled this straight out of the training. I just took a little screenshot. This is a little bit, like I said, a little bit copy paste, right? Because all clients need to learn about audience building, influencer outreach, Twitter chats. So I do modify it for every client, but I do talk to most clients about some of the same things over and over again, so I'm able to kind of repurpose and reuse these things. For instance, a lot of clients, almost all of them, should have an understanding about influencer outreach. So we want to create a spreadsheet with some of our influential bloggers that we want to connect with. Here's the information we want to include. We want to be sure that we think that they are, that we've measured their influence, so it's worth working with them. And what are other places that we can find more influencers? I also talk to them about blogger organizations and social media organizations, becoming a member of those and attending those, because you'll meet so many cool people, and social media clubs are in every local area. And of course, if they've got staff members that they should, in this particular case they did, they needed to be sending their staff to social media conferences to develop relationships with people. So as you can also see Twitter chats on there. This is the type of information that I'm including, because I'm giving them my recommendations, but I'm also creating a plan for them. So I'm giving them some direction on what they actually need to do. It seems like a lot, maybe it may seem like a lot, let me say it that way. But once you've done one of these, it's really easy to kind of pick and pull out the training pieces and then just piece it together based on what you believe that specific client needs. Okay, so I have no idea why I put this slide here. So now that you've done the evaluation or roadmap and you've made recommendations about one-time services or the done-for-you services, or perhaps even you've made training or consulting recommendations in your proposal, it's oftentimes that client is going to move forward with you. And here's an example, and this is kind of a random proposal that I picked. It was actually for training and consulting. So I was going to do an evaluation for a client, and then after that, they wanted some consulting. They wanted me to help hire a social media manager for them. So I was going to give them a job posting template. I was going to reach out to my network, and that I would interview 3 candidates, or that I would talk to a few candidates. I would narrow it down to 3 and send them on their way. And then once they had selected a candidate, that I would do some training for that client. So this is an example of what a proposal looks like from us. Although I don't think that number is correct on the pricing for sure. I don't really have time to go into the one-time services because we're already at 8:30. But some of the one-time services that you might be recommending are social branding package. So people's graphics are all over the place, and I mean, I don't know if I can, if this is bad, they're just crappy. Yeah, they just don't look good. And so you want to really have consistent branding across all of it, from your cover images to your profile pictures to your custom tabs to banners that you have on the side of your website. You want it to all look uniform. You want it to create the same feeling and the same message, and you want to look professional, or you want to look however you want it to look, right? You need appropriate calls to action in the right places. And so a social branding package. Now, I know all of you guys are not graphic designers, but you can partner up with one. They'll charge you a couple $100 to do all of the designs. You can go on Pinterest and find all the right sizes and send them to them. And then you can charge the client double that or a little bit more as a one-time service. Setting up a Facebook page, running a contest, maybe doing one simple advertising campaign for them that gets eyeballs on a blog post, or to a lot of times I'll do this for if they've got a live event coming up and they're trying to sell some tickets. And then profile optimization, I think, is also important, similar to the branding package, in what are you communicating in all of your bios? Do you have broken links? Are they trackable? What information are you sharing in your biography? And so if these have gone untouched, they may just need a good refresher. So those are ideas for one-time services. And again, I love one-time services, I love consulting, and I love the eval because you're done and then you don't have any ongoing commitment to the client. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not re-proposing stuff at the end of it. It's just that I'm just, this is just me growing and evolving my business away from done-for-you stuff. And I think that you guys, if you start selling more and charging more for some of these higher leveraged things like that social media eval, I mean, those things for me sometimes are 10 pages long. That client is getting a lot of information from me. Then you don't feel so stuck and tied into, married to your ongoing done-for-you stuff. And that's the stuff that's chaining you to your desk and not allowing you to live the life of your dreams. Now, oh my gosh, as far as done for you, when we talked about the strategies, I talked to you a lot about this stuff, okay? I talked to you about the 5-step approach. And then of course, in your done for yous, you're gonna wanna offer reporting and some consulting to them monthly. I do not include any kind of social advertising. That's a separate package for us. And I would have to do, I'm not gonna go too much into it, but we charge a management fee, and then there's also an ad budget, and there's a minimum that the client is required to spend. And I think with Jesse, for us, that's $5,000 now, but you may be around $500 a month, like have your client spending $500 a month on Facebook ads. And maybe you incorporate the management fee into your done for you with that low of a package. But for us, our clients are spending a minimum of $5,000 a month, and our management fee is $2,500. Now, I said I'm doing some content creation, but I'm not doing big content creation. So I'm doing content creation for social posting, but I'm not gonna create their videos. I'm not writing their blog posts. And if it's too intense of graphics, I'm not doing that either. The client will have to have a separate budget for that, or they'll have to have someone on their team do that. Now, I will create small, easy graphics like the stuff I would do for myself. I can make a quick little Animoto video, no problem. I can create text posts and link posts, but I'm not doing anything too super involved without a budget. It doesn't include the client nagging me daily. It involves them talking to me on our pre-scheduled calls. And I won't be coordinating with their team members too much. I won't be training their staff, and I won't be amending what I'm doing in order to totally accommodate whatever other people on their team might be doing. Now, that might sound harsh, but I've had somebody where somebody else is managing their Facebook ads and they've got a call with them and they want me to show up to that call extra every week for their Facebook ad stuff, or they've got someone else that's doing their Twitter or their blog posting. And so you have to really, these boundaries, they only elevate your positioning with the client. So definitely have these things and communicate them up front. I don't do any more than 3 platforms, and I don't participate in Twitter chats as them. Again, I might agree to some of this when I'm doing the proposals. They're all customized, but I'm trying to give you guys a good baseline to start with. Now, the first 30 days of done for you, I don't actually do any posting. Can you imagine? Now, first of all, if a client has not done an evaluation roadmap, that's where we're starting anyway. So we're gonna do that first. Then after that, I wanna do the profile setup and optimization. I wanna create an editorial calendar, and I wanna have a couple weeks worth of content underneath my belt before we even get started. I wanna make sure there's consistent branding throughout. Now, when it says train your team, I want to train my team, right? Because now we're talking about me providing done for you services. Well, I'm not the best person to sit here and actually do those every day. So I've got a team. So I need some time to train them on my procedures, make sure they have what they need, like standard responses. So my clients know up front, you still pay for your first month, but I'm not doing any posting yet. And that's because we're doing all the pre-work in the first 30 days to get your account ready, so that on day 32 or day 31, we can come out the gate and we're well prepared. Of course, you also want to take baseline metrics so you can know where you started and you have something to measure where you went. Now here's a sample Twitter daily plan. It's pretty involved, but the good news is that you don't have, this is page 1 and this is page 2. And so this would be, again, I said we do no more than 3 profiles. So normally we just are doing 2 now. And if Twitter were one of them, here's why. Because these are all the items that we're doing. Everything from follower management, like we said, growing the audience, to engagement, to managing their content and their reputation, measuring the analytics. Now you guys don't have to grab all of this or worry about capturing all of it, because that's your free bonus. Yay! So as my thank you to you for staying on and listening to me present about my strategy roadmap, I am going to give you my checklists. They're my daily checklists. You can even see up in the corner Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. These are what my team uses. This is what I use to manage my team. This is their daily task list. And I'm going to give you one for each of the 4 main platforms, and I'll tell you how to get that in just a second. I'll give you a link to go grab it. No opt-in required, but you guys are going to get checklists for Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. You actually get this exact Twitter one that you can customize and use. Their Excel spreadsheets, so you can customize them, change them up, add your branding. And then for each client, after I create their plan, I create a checklist for the person that's going to be doing it if the client is coming on in a done for you package. So I hope you guys like the checklists. I've been using and evolving them for quite some time now, and they'll give you a good starting point for what you need to include both in your strategies and if you're doing done for you social media services, what you should be providing. So again, I'll give you the link to that in just a second. Cool. I guess I should have, I think I'm talking more than I did earlier today, plus just a little bit of interaction. So I hope you guys are good. I have just a few more slides for you, because I know that your next question is going to be on that done for you is what to charge, right? And if you're just getting started, I would say for those 3 profiles, and depending on the size of the business, you're probably going to be charging somewhere between $1,000 and $2,500. I'm sorry, $1,000 and $1,500 a month. $500 a month per profile. That seems perfectly reasonable. I charge $2,500 and up for done for you. And so the same thing for my strategies. My smallest strategy that evaluation roadmap, I would charge $2,500, but we've charged on up to 10 grand for those strategies. And again, it just depends on the client and how valuable that information is to them. So you got to do good sleuthing in the beginning, because even though the work is the same, if you've got a really big client that is going to use it to create tens of thousands of dollars online, then it's worth more to them than your mom and pop coffee shop that's not going to make as much money. So you can scale that up or down depending on what the client needs. And if you're going to include fees, you want to add that to your baseline price, but make sure you're accounting for any help that you have, any tools that you use, any education that you need, that kind of stuff. You want to pass those fees on to your clients by hiding them there in your package pricing. And that's why I do not do hourly pricing. We only do package pricing. Let's see here, guys. So good news for you, if you can sell $2,500 a month packages, you only need a couple of clients and you've got a full-time social media income. And that's really, kind of the end of my story is that's what we do. That's what we do now. And what I even like more so now is that I do maybe 2 or 3, actually really more like 2 social media strategies per month. And so I'm not really doing that same thing every day where I'm waking up and I'm posting and I'm engaging and I'm doing all of that. But I still, as long as I have 2 to 3 strategies a month, it's the same as if I had 2 to 3 done for you clients. And I like the strategies better because I can do those from anywhere. I don't have to wake up at a set time. I don't have to manage any team members. And so I highly recommend, if you have the opportunity to move towards more of your consulting and away from your done for you, that you take advantage of that opportunity. So now really quickly, I would like to, if you want to know more about how to become a social media manager, or if you want access to some of the resources or tools that I've mentioned today, that we have all of the screenshots that I showed you from our proposal and our evaluation audit, all our reporting, all of that stuff is in the Social Media Manager Pro training. You know, you guys can figure all this stuff out on your own, and I know that there's a lot of resources out there, but I also know that I've spent a lot of time figuring out what doesn't work, and so if you guys can leverage my mistakes for your own benefit, you might as well. So our little system that I told you I was going to tell you about is Social Media Manager Pro, and I'm pretty proud of this. Pretty proud of this guy. We teach you everything you need to know to get started. If you think that this was a lot of information, I had to actually not share some stuff and keep some stuff out. And this is actually going to go directly into the training. Plus, I'm going to be adding to it. This is going to replace, this training you guys saw tonight is the beginning of me replacing an entire module on how to package and price your services in Social Media Manager Pro. So you guys will get access to the upgraded stuff as we're working on all of that right now, which has been really fun. But for the most part, you would be getting access to a 6-part system. It's super easy to follow. If you were able to follow tonight, and if you don't want to kill me from the sound of my voice, then you will do just fine in the training. There are 30-minute tutorial videos that give you an overview, and then there are little smaller demo videos in each module that go into more detail. And we talk about getting started, the opportunity of becoming a social media manager, and why I think social media management is in high demand. You're going to hear from more of our students. Which I love incorporating that, because I think it really helps you to, you know, relate to yourself about how are you going to actually make this work. It's great to hear from other people who have made it work, and also so that you know I'm just not up here doing my thing. That our system really does get results for our students. Branding your business. Now, if you guys already have a VA business, you're going to want to add the social media component to it. So I want to talk to you about what it's important to communicate as a social media manager, and how you need to look. All of this information also translates over to the stuff that you'll be telling your clients. So you want to dig in to that module. Branding. Service offerings. You guys heard a lot about that this evening. This module is getting a major overhaul. I talk more about the audit. I actually show you a sample one. I give you a template for a sample one that you can use and edit and put your own branding on. And we also talk about subcontracting and all kinds of good stuff in service offerings. Finding clients is a lot of what we covered in the last webinar with Tess, how to get that first client, places to look under rocks, down the street, where you take your kids to daycare, networking events, all of that stuff, and ways to stand out so that you attract clients to you, which is the coolest part when you're not looking for them anymore, when they're coming to you. Module 5, doing the work. So we touched on this a little bit today, but if you think about that done for you package that I showed you, I'll actually go through that checklist that you just saw for Twitter, and I'll actually do each of the things that's on that checklist and show you how to do it. So that's the done for you. Is the doing the work is where I show you how to implement the done for you strategies for your clients, all the tools you need, and all the steps that you need to take. Module 6, management and metrics, and this is also kind of like my nuts and bolts. This is where I give you contracts and proposals, how to work with contractors, how to get paid, all of that good stuff, and how to actually run your business, your social media manager business like a business. Again, all the mistakes I made when I ran it the wrong way for many years, you guys can benefit from all of that. One of my friends, Kurt Molly, comes in to help us with social for local. So if you've got a lot of local businesses, businesses that get their customers within a 10-mile radius. The done for you packages for them are a little bit different, right? There's a couple of different things that you do, and Kurt is an expert in that, so he comes in and teaches you that. This is the module that our friend David Struther back in the beginning that had the $20,000 month. This was the module that he focused on and went out and sold to 3 separate clients. In that 1 month, he was focused on the local for social module. It's a really great module. Kurt's super smart. And then my favorite part, this is absolutely my favorite module in the whole thing. This applies to you whether you want to be a social media manager or if you just want to become known as an expert in the industry, whatever industry you're in. I talk about building an online empire, how to get media attention, multiple streams of income, and becoming an authority. So you're getting speaking gigs, you could get a book publisher, all kinds of fun things come to you when you are well known in your industry. The most fun being you can charge more money based on perceived, based on the perception that you are an expert, right? And hopefully you actually are one to back that up as well. But you can start charging more when people know that you, when you've started to build your reputation that way. Now, my personal belief is that is the best training on how to become a social media manager in existence. It's taught by myself, and we actually have a faculty of experts. I mentioned Kurt. We have an Instagram teacher. We have a Pinterest teacher. We have my business partner, Jesse Jameson. So there are several of us on hand that all kind of have different expertise to help guide you through everything that you need to know. And these are what some of my students have said. Karen was bored. Now she makes 2 to 3 times that she did being a paralegal. I'll skip through some of these because I know that I have kept you on this webinar now for almost 2 hours. Oh, I timed it today. I spoke to myself for about an hour, so I guess I was less interesting to speak to myself. Johnny actually used the system to get a job, so if you're looking to do that, we can help you with that. And really, I have coached thousands of people. Anybody who actually puts the system to work gets results, period. No questions about it. So I bet you're wondering how much it's going to be after I've done all of this preamble, and I'm not sure what you would expect to pay, but I do like to keep things super simple, and I don't want to, I want you to feel like you get your value straight out the gate. We talked about those prices being $1,000 to $1,500 a month. So today's price for Social Media Manager Pro is just one payment of $497. So $500 out the gate and you're ready to go. I don't know where else you can start a business for $500. And I just watched 2 webinars late last week when I was preparing for this, and for social media trainings, and both of them were over $1,000. So I feel like we are the most comprehensive, but we've also got the best price. So you'll get all of the modules I just mentioned for one payment of $497 today. The link to grab it and also your free bonuses are on the same link. Okay, you guys, so if you want your checklists, you're going to go to the same link. Just go to socialmediamanagerpro.com/tests. And if I can stop sharing for just a second and escape out of this window, if you are in the webinars on air, I will show you this cool little button that they make for us. You can just click the link that says get your copy today, and it will take you over to the website. So again, you guys can, if you want to get your free bonuses, it's going to be the same link as the people who want the free bonuses or who want the checklists and who want to check out the course. And again, that is socialmediamanagerpro.com/tests. Now, really quickly, because I think this is the most important part, I mentioned we have a faculty, and I was talking to Jesse today. We recently came out with a course called Website Pro, and we also have a course called Social Retargeting Pro. Jesse just finished a course called Mobile Leads Pro that we're going to start selling. And he said for anybody that buys tonight, so before I wake up tomorrow morning, anybody that purchases on this webinar, that we can give you all 3 of these courses as well for free. Okay? Nice. So you're going to get the Social Retargeting Pro course, which is all about, well, I don't want to go into it too much, but it's all about website audience retargeting on Facebook, which we actually do have a bonus module in there on how to sell retargeting or at Facebook advertising services to clients. So it'd be a great little addendum to the training that you guys did tonight, is how to sell the paid stuff, which I didn't really talk about. And if I did, we'd be here for another hour. Our Website Pro, which I know a lot of you guys are website experts already, WordPress, it's all about WordPress. And again, we have a bonus module in there because for us, we're all about how to sell this to clients. So we've got a little bonus module in there on on your WordPress strategy, along with WordPress basics. We're gonna throw that in for free. And then literally he just finished it today. We just set up our sales page. No one has seen this yet, not even me. I haven't even seen it yet. But Jesse said that if you, and that's my business partner, that for anybody that takes advantage and gets Social Media Manager Pro tonight, we want to get this mobile leads course in everyone's hands. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but Facebook just launched a feature where you can run ads that collect email addresses with 2 clicks of a button via Facebook. So your customers no longer have to tediously type in their email address. They can just click, yes, I want this download, and yes, give them my email. And boom, you started to collect emails via Facebook, and it's great for your mobile people. So it's a 5-module course, and we are going to include that. Also, we kind of want your feedback on it. It's one of the main reasons we want to get it in your hands, because we want some people to test it out and tell us if there's anything else we need to add to it. So you guys are going to get all of that. You have the opportunity to join our Social Media Manager Connect free for 1 month. There is a charge for it after that, but when you become a Social Media Manager Pro member, you will have the opportunity to join Connect, which is our tight little group of people that we coach and train monthly. So you'll get that free trial as well. So I think that, I feel like the guy, but wait, there's more. But there really isn't more. I really believe in this course. I've been teaching social media management and doing it since 2009. I want you guys to have access to everything that we have in our library and
Uh-oh.
I think probably some people that were on with us before, I will, if you did pay the $497 before last time you were with Tess, I will give you access to the mobile leads. I believe a lot of you got the Social Retargeting Pro already, but I'll take care of you guys, because if you're on again today, I'll make sure that you have access to our stuff, okay? So no one freak out, just send Tess a message or send me a message. We'll get you taken care of. But for the new people that want to come, that didn't join before, that needed a little extra elbow, if you come join tonight on socialmediamanagerpro.com/Tess, I will give you those 3 bonuses. But when I wake up tomorrow morning is when I'm going to add all the bonuses for everybody. And so once I've done it, then I'm not going to, then they won't be offered anymore. Then you can still get access to the training, but I won't offer the bonuses after that. I think that's it.
Nice, Kate. That's quite a package.
I think that's what I got for you guys. Let me see if I had a good little, yeah, I'll stop sharing and we can just chat. I'm sure there's some questions. I should probably come back over. I just blew through everything super fast.
That was awesome. Thank you. You've always blown me away with the content you provide. It's unbelievable.
Oh no, somehow when I came back in, the Q&A got turned off. Oh, that's a bummer. Oh, now I just see it. I just re-enabled it. Oh. There may be, let me look.
I see 3 raised hands. Is there a way we can let's see.
Yeah, I re-enabled the Q&A. So if you guys have a question, you can type it. It'll be like kind of like your last raised hand, last call.
There we go. Angela wants to know if you have a 2-payment option.
Oh, that's right. Actually, I do. We actually have a 3-pay. So it's 3 payments of $197. And actually, if we let me actually do this. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm on the page right now, and first of all, if you just click this image right here, you're going to get a zip file with the social media task lists in there. Okay, so that's a zip file. You just have to save that, and then just save it and then unzip it, and those all open as Excel files. Okay, so there's that. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the bonuses. I'm going to take those down tomorrow. If you want to get the 497, just click the Get Instant Access button. But then for those of you that want to do a 3-pay, just click the 3 payments link underneath, and it's 3 payments of $197. They come with 30 days recurring. So in 30 days, you'll do another $197, and then in 30 more days, you'll do another. So that's how that works. Let's see, other questions. I don't have a question, but I'm thankful about this webinar. Oh, I know. Keep that link handy also, because there was a problem with my slides showing. So I'll put the slides up, and that's also, of course, as Tess knows, that's where I'll put the replay. If you want to go back and take notes and pause and watch it 100 times, you're welcome to do that. It'll be as soon as it's done processing. It's why I love webinars. It'll just be right up there where those bonuses are. You'll get to see the, you'll get to watch the replay. So that link again was /socialmediamanagerpro.com/tests. Let's see what else.
What error? Eileen says she's getting an error code when downloading the checklist. Try right-clicking on the image, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I just did it for you guys. Let me make sure. Let me log out.
I tested it earlier today too, and it with a single click, it went ahead and.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I can try to get them to you guys another way. I don't really know, but I just clicked on it, and my save as pops up. So I hate to not have a solution for you, but that's the link. I love the little infinite loop thing that happens. Will the link be emailed us to the materials you have presented? I'm not sure if Tess is going to email it out, but I like to just put everything in one place. So you guys, the checklists, I'll give the slides, because I know there, for some of you, you said there was a point in time where you couldn't see anything, and the replay. It's all going to be on that page /tests, and that will stay up for a couple days at least, something like that. Yeah.
I'll send out an email to everyone too for people who missed it. So
cool.
That'll go out.
I don't really see any other questions. Are you guys doing social media strategies for your clients? Have you been providing that as a service, or are you just doing done for you stuff? You can just answer in the Q&A if you want. I'm just curious. I wasn't sure if anybody was even offering.
I do.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But I'm going to take a look at your checklists for sure. Those were awesome.
Able to download the checklist just fine. Thank you. Okay, cool. So we know somebody was. That's awesome. Oh, cool. First time, just want to learn. Okay, awesome. Well, you know, moving from the done for you to the strategies is something that I thought might be useful for you guys. And if not, even if you're still doing done for you, you want to take the information in the from the strategies that I shared with you guys, and you want to start incorporating that into the strategies and the plans that you are creating. So.
No strategies. Well, you have some now.
The other thing that you guys might do is if there's so I know sometimes people really like more the done for you side, and they don't really want to be creating the strategies. And so in the forums, you guys can maybe partner up and find somebody who likes really doing the done for you, and you create the strategies and then create proposals for your clients and bring them on to do done for you, and find a partner in the forums that enjoys doing the day-to-day stuff. I know before, I like just being out and talking with clients, excuse me, and I'm just super unreliable. I mean, I was when I was doing this every day, but you know, just I just enjoy it more. So I started spending more time that way, and it was really helpful for me when I partnered up with someone who didn't want to be out and didn't want to be doing the talking and didn't want to be the face of the business. And this wasn't even Jessie. This was prior to Jessie. She's our client services director. Her favorite thing was just get up in the morning and just be on the computer. And she didn't want to have to leave the house and didn't want to have to talk to clients, and certainly didn't want to be responsible for creating strategies. But she could follow them to the T, and she loved that. So you know, I'm sure in the forums there's a way for you guys to connect with each other and partner up, and capitalize on whatever your strengths and preferences are about how you'd like to be running your business. So I'm planning on offering social media to my clients, and this was very helpful. Awesome. That was the sound of me taking a screenshot.
Eileen, when I send out the link to review the replay, there will be a link. I'll put a link to get the file, but it sounds like it might be an issue with your download.
Technology is awesome and a bummer sometimes too, huh?
Maybe try with a different browser and see if that works. I used Chrome, and all I needed was one click.
Oh yeah, please, probably if you're using Internet Explorer, don't do that. That's probably not good. I'll show that slide one more time in case you guys need to get the link, because I want you to have it for all of your replays and checklists and all of that. So get our infinite loop one more time. Let's just do that. Present, there you go. Yeah, Tess, I hope you enjoyed the, I hope it was I can't even speak. It's like 10 o'clock.
It's time to open that line.
It was informational for you too, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know that you are in the trenches too, huh? Doing.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it was great. I don't ever think I know everything, but I think I'm pretty well versed. Every time I get together with you, I learn tons. If I wasn't already ingrained in 2 other courses, one for grant writing and another one for something that's unrelated to the business that I do, I would be all over this. And probably next time I'm going to go ahead and do it, because in the nonprofit sector, social media moves really fast, and you provide such a wealth of information. And the feedback on the forums the last time we did this and people invested in the Social Media Manager Pro was insane. So it's top of my list for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we are pretty proud of our program over here and all of our students. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I know I wanted to build on what we trained on last time, because I know that there were some repeats. Some of you guys hanging out. I always thought of myself, I still do, I'm a webinar junkie. I register for everything and watch and get my hands on as much training as I possibly can. So I know you guys do too. So I hope this was, I hope it wasn't too fast for you. I know I talked really fast. I know it was a lot of information. I think I have some changes that I'll make for the next time that I do it. But I hope it was useful for you guys, and I hope I would love to hear from you after you go create. Try taking this information and creating your own first social media strategy, maybe for yourself or for a client that you have right now that you might just do for them, you know, pro bono or something, to just practice with everything that you've learned tonight. So definitely take a stab at it and then get back to me. You know, you can follow me online. I'm Kate Buck Jr. everywhere. Of course, you can find me at Social Media Manager Pro, and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear from you guys on the forums too. That's a great place to talk about this kind of thing.
I need to get back. I was active. I was active when when I first signed up, but and I really enjoyed my time there. So then I got to traveling. So thanks for the little reminder. I should come to a chat or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one small caveat is I'm doing, like, as I mentioned, the server move. We're doing a little work, so things are a little slow and kind of funky right now, but we're getting there. It'll be fine-tuned pretty soon, and you guys can jump back in.
I understand those things happen. So, all right, you guys. Well, I have taken up 2 hours of your evening, so I won't do that. I won't take up another minute of it, but I would love to see you over at Social Media Manager Pro. If that is something that is a next step for you and makes sense for you. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed the training, and please keep in touch with me.
Thanks, Kate. Have a great night. Enjoy that wine.
You too. Chat later.
Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.